Hey y'all, welcome back to another Valheim video today, and today I have prepared for you 5 or so tips that I think are game changing. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, here we are with tip number 1. Now, one of my biggest tips for Valheim is once you get to the point where you can craft portals, you should bring the materials to craft one portal with you, anywhere you go. And here's why. You know, once you start branching out across the map, things get pretty far away. And, you know, in this game, our inventory, gear aside, buffs aside, food, whatever, you know, all of our key items, typically takes up a little over half of your inventory. And that's just not, great. Because we want to get a lot of loot, store it, bring it back to base for crafting and upgrading and stuff and building, right? So, one of the ways you can get around that is always keeping the portal materials on you. So that, like, hey, my inventory's full, hey, my rested bonus ran out. You can type rest, or whatever you make your, you just put one portal at your base that's not attached to any portal, and you put a tag in that you don't use except for your portal while you're exploring or traveling. Then, whenever you want to return home, you can. You put it, wherever you get your rested bonus or your storage is. For me, I chose where my rested bonus is, my max comfort. And then, you get your rested bonus, you empty out your inventory, and then you just go back through and continue what you were doing. You can get a lot more use out of your entire day in Valheim using this trick. On to the next. Now, my second main tip is one that I actually like to use a lot myself. So basically, before you ever go to bed in Valheim, if you have ore to smelt, and you haven't been smelting it all day already, and you have the charcoal prepared, but maybe you want to make more too, right? Fill up your furnaces and your charcoal kilns and anything else you want to process overnight before you sleep. Because after you sleep, the time will have gone by in game making these done. Like, the timer on it, you don't have to actually wait it out because you slept those hours. So you can just wake up and collect. Yeah, here, and I'll even do the charcoal kilns, because I should probably do them anyway. Can never have enough charcoal in Valheim. And if you know, you know. So here we'll fill up all the charcoal kilns. It's a little slow. And then we'll go sleep and come right back over, no cut, and oh, I didn't count right, and I used some of my wood from my last tip. I'll have to go get more then. Alright, so we have a bunch of charcoal put in there. Now we're gonna sleep. Oh, I have to dry off first. This is Valheim. All that's processing though, and we're about to sleep here, and then you will see that when we get up, it'll all be done. Versus just sitting there and waiting, or, I mean, if you have ore to be smelted, be smelting that the entire day, no matter what, alright? But before you go to bed, make sure you top it off, or at least start it up. Because by the time you get up, it's a new day, and for us, that's day 903, and everything's just done now. It processed, its timer is up, and now you got it. Now you can collect it and store it in your chests. I like to have mine really close by so that I can just transfer it nice and easy. Then moving on to the next tip. Alright, tip number 3. Get yourself a Draugr farm. What that can offer you is as much skill leveling as you'll ever need. I've been working on my axes, not pickaxes, where is it? We find this in my skill. Clubs, 61. I mean, I know that used to be higher for me, but whenever I lose levels, I try to go to the Draugr farm and regrind them in my main weaponry. So right now I'm trying to get axes and clubs as high as I can. Axes is kind of slacking because I've been using more clubs, but those are just my 2 favorite weapons, so that's why I'm leveling those 2. As for the other 2 farms you see here, I have separate videos on how to, build both of them, or at least set them up, and I will link them down below. But for today's video, we're going to be using the Draugr farm. Now, essentially, you just gotta find yourself an abandoned Draugr village. It's really that simple. Once you find yourself an abandoned Draugr village, you can just come here and grind out levels on the infinite amount of Draugr that will spawn. And it looks like this, and I recommend, marking on your map and leaving a portal here. But what most people don't know is you can take a hoe, and you can use the raise ground feature to raise the ground around the Draugr spawners, the flesh and blood piles on the ground. And when you do this, now it can't be destroyed. You can't accidentally misclick and break it, and neither can other Draugrs, because that's happened to me as well. I've had the archers shoot them out, or do a significant amount of damage to them. And now all you gotta do is stand in between the spawners and start fighting every time some Draugr spawns. And this is a great way to farm entrails while you're leveling skills, so you can make loads of sausages, because even into the end game, sausages are still one of the best foods in the game. I mean, they are so mass producible, so for a group, it's one of your best options for food. And I mean, even if you're solo, you can just stock up on those things from this farm, and all you need is boar meat. So other than that, I mean, you pick up the thistle when you go through the swamps and black forests, and then this farm not only level your skills, but it'll also help you just get infinite sausage, since entrails can, at least for me, for a while, were one of the more difficult things to get in that recipe. So I'm going to the next tip now. Tip number 4, get yourself some lox. Once you get to the plains, you can tame lox using cloudberries, flax, or barley. And you can tame yourself a lox. And what these things do is, not only do they do AoE damage, they pretty much kill everything on sight. So I like to occasionally release a couple lox outside my walls, because they'll knock down trees, they'll kill enemies, and there'll be resources out here. I mean, and if you tame a lox, get a saddle for it, you can bring a lox anywhere with you, and then you have a free self-defense lox. And it'll get the job done. I mean, I just run around outside my base every once in a while and just pick up a bunch of loot. Never really have to worry about skeletons or anything attacking the gates. Goblins, nothing. The lox kind of clean up all that. So this is one of the examples of what you want. It's with a pen, by the way. You just want to raise the ground with your hoe, and then do a small little wood border around the top, and they shouldn't be able to boost out, since lox seem to find a way to boost out of almost any pen I've ever put them in, except this one. It's very unlikely they ever get out. Well, I think I've had one escape from here. But yeah, once you get yourself a lox saddle, this thing not only will you can get this thing moving pretty fast here. Let me get him out of the pen, and I'll show you some other uses of having a lox with a saddle. Not only can you control where it goes, then you can now control whether or not it actually follows you, because with no saddle, they'll just do their own thing. They will not follow you. They'll keep doing whatever they were doing before they met you. Just running around killing things and eating grass, I guess. But once you get a saddle on it, you can just, the lox will be your main transportation. You can over encumber yourself, so I could have like 600 pounds of metal on me, and I could get on the lox, and the lox would still be able to sprint like this. Now, lox can also trample things when you run them over. Another one of their benefits, they just run things over, and if they are a lot weaker, they just die. Lox can also be used to break down trees and rubble on the ground in the forests, like these baby trees here. You can use them to just bulldoze into them. And normally hitting a tree with a lox 2 to 3 times will get it to break like that and fall to the ground. So someone could run around on a lox theoretically and knock down trees, while the other person runs around and harvests it. If you're trying to team up and get wood a little bit faster, since it can be a bit time consuming and tedious, you could have someone literally just run around like this on the lox, knocking trees over and breaking everything apart, while someone else just collects. I mean, the lox is so underrated in this game. Not only that, you can build yourself. What I'm going to show you here in a minute is a farm that we set up for our lox over in the plains on our main island here. And I'm going to show you one of the other very good uses of lox here. They're very good to just breed and raise, because lox meat is used for one of the best recipes in the game, known as a lox meat pie. And whenever you can start crafting that, I would start getting lox. that locksmeat pies and the fish wraps are the two main foods I eat in, you know, very, very late game. Like, I'm just waiting on Mistlands. We have nothing left to do. We've killed all the bosses. We've crafted almost all the armor sets. Like, you know, and locksmeat pie has got us there. I mean, serpent stew is still very good, but it is not near as renewable as locksmeat pie can be. Now, I'm still working on a layout and setup for an auto locks breeder. I think I have an idea. I'm going to try to build soon. I just need a little bit more stone, so I'm going to be working on that soon. To get, you know, because we have an auto locks breeder, or auto wolf breeder and auto boar breeder set up in the wolf farm. I'm going to link in the description of this video. That kind of go over, you know, what I use those for and why it's just so much better to have an auto breeder. I think I touched on that topic, and if not, I will right now. So basically, since locksmeat is one of the, you know, probably arguably one of two most valuable food recipes in the game, you're gonna need a lot of locksmeat for all these locksmeat pies. So I'm basically gonna build a giant auto breeder up here so that it's out of the spawn range of these locks. Because based on how the spawning goes, if two locks trying to breed are within 13 meters, I believe it is, maybe 15, if too many other locks or any other animal, this goes for all the animals, not just locks, they will not breed. So if you get them high enough in the air and away from the other ones, the two in the breeder will just keep eating and breeding and breeding and breeding, that allowing you to fill up a pit efficiently and actually, you know, raise some livestock without it taking, you know, all of your time. You have to feed them once in a while and then come, you know, slay what you need. It's that simple. Locks have a million uses, and those are just the main ones I use them for in this game. I mean, we're also making roadways across the entire island that we live on here. So we have, you know, 4 or 5 biomes in it, in this island, so that's not a bad deal. And the locks make it really easy to not only roam those pathways, but kind of keep the, you know, enemies off of them. Locks have a million uses, and I hope you learned something about locks here. And we're going to be moving on to the final tip of this video. Now, my final tip for my Valheim tips video is to just try to stay organized and start organizing everything from as early on as you can. And I mean organized. Organized. Like, it'll save you so much time in the late game when you have everything, you know, organized. I mean, we have some goofballs among us who name the boxes certain things, but we still know what's in there, at least, so. And that's just how we store everything. You want to be as organized as possible with how you store your items, with how you lay out your base, so you can expand upon it, because let me tell you, I've torn apart this base and redone the entire main base multiple times, and I mean, if you saw my original first Valheim video that I did of touring this base, it looks much different from now, and it has looked very different a few other times. Like, this layout has completely, like, I've torn apart an entire base, stored it in carts, and then rebuilt this entire base. Hell, I even redid the walls to be, you know, the raised ground kind now. So definitely try to be organized with your base. But I mean, just plan your space wisely, you know, and definitely don't build your base too small. Like, I had to expand to this multiple times, like redo my base and expand it, and then redo my base and expand more. Just take, you know, if you're gonna wall in a bunch of land and moat it off, just go dream big, you know. Now, one thing I have learned is Valheim is very unoptimized, so putting too much in one place will really kill your game. Of course, the game wants to sleep right now, but basically, we tried to keep as little as possible in main base, and this is also where kind of another tip comes in, which is building yourself a portal hub. Like, at main base, we have our windmills, we have our tavern, which has, like, you know, everything to make food. It's our kitchen. This is where we have our beds and store our gear, and then this is our storage, and that's our blacksmith over there. And we have a tiny locks pen out front there. And this we used to have everything here, like all of our animals, all of our farms that we could, like everything, and it just got way too laggy. So organize your portals too. Having a lot of portals in your main base can cause even more lag. I've noticed portals have a weird impact on that, even when they're not in use. So, but yeah, we have our great ore farms, we have our boar farm and our automatic wolf farm, both there. Again, I'm leaving a link to this video in the description. Same with the Surtling farm, we have a portal there, and the Draugr farm. I mean, those two we couldn't really move or anything, but I'll show you the portal hub really quick. I showed you kind of like the storage, how we keep it all organized. Our base is very organized now. Like, all of our buildings have purpose. There's no more just purely aesthetic. Like, it's something that has a purpose we're going to use a lot, but also done aesthetically nice. Definitely don't be afraid to use signs in this game. You're gonna want to, honestly. It's gonna be life-saving. So we have our, farms, like our flax and our onion turnip and our lox and barley farm. More people changing signs, bro. I don't even see them. I just come on sometimes and they're changed, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But anyway, yeah, we have all our farms separate from our main base to cut down on lag there. So that's one of the things you can kind of just put in the biome it's from. And that way you can do a little themed farm. I mean, we just did 3. We have two of them in the plains for the barley and the flax. And then we just put the onions, turnips, and carrots all in one farm. But like, another thing with the portals, having them all in one place is just so life-changing. Like, I should say game-changing, but you know what I mean. Having them all in one place just allows you to bring one portal from your main base to the portal hub, and now you have access to all of your portals. I mean, we have all the boss portals right in one place, warps to little outposts by them. I have places I'm going to explore in order, so like I'm starting like here and here, and then moving on to some of these places to explore, and then I have room to expand here. This is our boat dock, just another shortcut there. These are other bases on the island that we live on. More shortcuts there, just like, but keeping your items and your portals organized in this game. Yeah, see the more biomes that we're gonna go explore when they released. We just kind of saw where they were, got a portal nearby. And like, this whole base here used to be our starter village, and I'm pretty sure I did a video on that too, or at least covered it in my one video. Maybe, I'm not sure. But we just destroyed our whole starter village because it didn't serve a purpose, and gave this base a purpose, but also a really important one to help keep us organized and on track. So definitely do not doubt, in Valheim, organization is your best friend. Trust me. We were unorganized for so long, and now that we've gotten to this level of organization and production with our, gear and food and all this other stuff, like, it's I definitely like underestimated it and overlooked it for too long. And now that we have everything organized, everything we do can just flow. But anyway, I hope these tips helped you guys. I hope you learned something in today's video. And if you want to see any of their content, more videos like this for Valheim or any other game I play, I'll put together lists and answer any questions you guys have. But as for always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.